So, The Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones, I saw a few days ago, under a week ago, and I knew, um, it wasn't gonna be great. I knew it wasn't gonna be great. Now, I know there are positive reactions to it, but that's like not as much. And like, I never look at that many reviews before I see a film, but I did read a couple. Good- Not many were, not many were the positive side. But again, I knew it's probably gonna be maybe good. It might be just fine, maybe like nothing mind blowing. And I mean, if you expect it to match the trilogy, I mean, you're just not gonna be happy because this is not gonna be the trilogy. All those three films, like masterfully made by Spielberg and Lucas, like you're not gonna match what Spielberg and Lucas did. I don't. Number four, a lot of people did not like, and and, and I did, and I think that was the second maybe Indiana Jones ever. So because I saw like I think Raiders once when I was a kid, but I didn't truly appreciate how perfect it was because it basically is. It is one of the most perfect films really ever made, and it's not even my favorite Indiana Jones film because so many are so fun. And as a kid, I thought four was like the coolest thing ever made, and I still like it. I am the rare person that actually does love doesn't love. There are a lot of flaws in number four, but I kind of like it still, even though there's so many dumb things in the film that just shouldn't be there. I will say, even though this is not a great Indiana Jones film, it's better. It's better than Crystal Skull, and I know a lot of people are saying it's by a mile the worst. It's not for me. For me, it's not, and I've seen a lot of reviews saying it's worse than Crystal Skull. But yeah, this is if people are saying this is just fine, I'm honestly okay with you saying that because it kind of is at times just a fine Indiana Jones film that's better than Crystal Skull. Basically, basically that's so it can be kind of disappointing where not all the time are you really into the film, like the trilogy where the whole time I'm honestly into it. And in th- but again there are just a lot of scenes that are much better made than Crystal Skull, which is, thank goodness, it is better. Thank goodness. And again, I like Crystal Skull, but I know the problems with the movie that I still do have. But when I was a kid, I didn't. As I said, when I was a kid, I thought it was super cool. But I understand there are a lot of problems with Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Yeah, it has problems. Now, a lot of the things people probably say is the de-aging CGI. Is that the biggest problem? Well, it might be, but I've seen worse CGI. I don't actually mind it. Now, I'm not going to give it an 8 out of 10, but I think it could be a passable 7 out of 10 because it is not the worst. And I know his voice. Yeah, it doesn't sound like he's that young, but he does a good enough job. Harrison Ford is probably the best thing about the film. Not to say it's bad. And the villain, um, that actor always plays a villain, and he's excellent in the film. So there are a lot of there's more positives. There's more good out of the film. Like there's bad, but it's not too much bad. Like the bad is like kind of minor. Like there's stuff. Yeah, I would have changed stuff in this film to make it better, but that proves that it was a good movie. Now, for the people saying it's so awful, it's really not. But there's parts that are kind of not the best. There are parts that are basically fine, and I could don't have to watch that. there's stuff like that. There's some conversations that might not need to be there at times with the two lead characters, but really, if you're just looking for a fun time where it's nothing exceptional, then this is basically it. Obviously, obviously, you would wanted like a more epic film with Harrison Ford just kicking ass the whole time. But I mean, he's literally 80, like Shia LaBeouf said. Shia LaBeouf said in the last one, "How are you at 80?" And now he literally is 80. He finds ways to kick ass even at his age, but it's not going to be like the old days where he's just doing crazy stuff. He's old. He's an old man, and this is the last one he'll do. And this is, if Indy 4 was the last one, that wasn't the best maybe ending one. This is a better last one, and again, this is also one that might be a bit disappointing to a lot of people because it's not an incredible experience. But I think it's a fun time that, I'll probably give a 7.5 out of 10 around that because I think it's watchable. And there are, flaws clearly, but, it's a fun time and it doesn't need to be made, but the only reason this is made is because Indy 4 for some reason was made and there's really no reason why a fourth like was ever made. Like the Last Crusade was one of the most perfect endings to a series or something, like a trilogy in history, right? The horses go into the sunset. We don't need another one, and we have two more films that really don't need to be made. I mean, even though this is a much better film than Crystal Skull, it doesn't really need to exist, but it does, and it does respect Indiana Jones, and there's nostalgia, which some of the nostalgia, I kind of loved, and some are chilling, like John Williams' score. Even if you hate the film, there is no way people hate John Williams' score. 91, and this score is amazing. Obviously, it's not his best. It's probably maybe, I don't know, third, fourth, because every film has a score in the whole Indiana Jones series, and man, I mean, this score is just it's if it's not 10, it's a 9 out of 10 score. Like if it's not 10, it's a 9 out of 10. Easily 9 out of 10 score. It is just a flawless score. I mean, that's probably the best part of the film. Maybe is the score, because it just is just amazing. Without John Williams, I mean, wow, the music. I mean, even some of the Star Wars is like he still did a lot of the modern Star Wars scores, even if they weren't the best films. Man, those scores were amazing. He finds ways to make scores amazing. If this is his last, I salute John Williams to being one of the greatest, really, maybe the greatest composer ever. The modern day Beethoven, like, holy crap. So, anyway, if I'm going to rave about something, it's probably the score, which is probably disappointing. There's nothing really to rave about in this film, but I really enjoyed Harrison Ford. He's my favorite thing about this film. Um, he has the whip, has the hat, he has the classic stuff. He still kicks ass the most. If you thought he wasn't going to be the one that does kick ass, it's him. He finds ways. There's other characters that are younger and they think they can kick ass, but really, he is the one. Basically, he's Indiana Jones. No one's going to beat him at, like, saving the day or anything. Like, he's the one. He's Indiana Jones. And the ending there, I'm not gonna spoil. There is a very emotional ending that I think almost was a perfect ending to the whole thing. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was kind of amazing to watch a 9 out of 10 scene. So again, despite like some things I don't like, there are things I love in this film, and it wasn't just like as consistent as it could have been. It could have been kind of amazing, and just they missed on a few things, but I really enjoyed the film. I had a good time. I actually liked it more. The thought, because again, like I didn't expect critics to like this film at all. They usually don't like these films, but a lot of fans hate it too. So, but of course, I only, you know, say how I feel like after like I can only say about I can only talk about a film if I see it. And once I saw it, of course, I'm disappointed because it's not as good as I wanted, but I actually thought this was not going to be as good as I like actually saw the film being. 6.8. Like I was even I wasn't even that hyped about this film. Like a few months ago, I really after the trailers, I didn't see much, and I thought this maybe be a 6.5. I thought this would be around, a 6 out of 10 film, which a lot of people are basically saying it's probably basically is that film, but I liked it much better than I thought it was gonna be, which is really surprising to me that I actually at least like the film more than Crystal Skull. And honestly, at this point, I know it's like a low expectation at this point, but you know, I'm just satisfied it's better that we have a better film than Crystal Skull because it seems though that it's really hard to make an amazing Indiana Jones film. I mean, it's hard to make amazing films usually, but it just seems like Indiana Jones and Star Wars, honestly, it's hard to make anything good out of those for some reason. And the director of this has made some awesome films. I mean, he made one of my favorite biopics of all time, Walk the Line, and so he's made films, and obviously this is probably one of his weakest in the last few years. He usually makes better films than this, but again, he usually really makes solid films, and this is one with flaws. So I think he is a very good director, and I'm just I had a good time. It's nothing special, obviously, but it's a good Indiana Jones film. A good Indiana Jones film. It's like remember Jurassic World came out. People just want to because all the really after the first one, all of them are garbage. Well, I mean, number two is Spielberg, and there was amazing shots. The animatronics are still amazing, but for me, the story lacked. Number three, a lot of the directing was kind of awful, but it's a guilty pleasure that I like. And then really, so everybody's like Jurassic World. A lot of people said at least it's good, but I honestly, I basically didn't like Jurassic World, but it was better than the sequels that were complete garbage. So it's like Indiana Jones and all the series. It's like if it's just good, that's fine, and that's basically what Jurassic Park films are. But really, there hasn't been a good one really since the original, which is pretty sad. And for Indiana Jones, all three are pretty much amazing films. And number four was kind of just for me an okay film. This was a good film. So I'm glad. Honestly, though, I don't think there's a bad Indiana Jones film out there because I like Crystal Skull. But it is one of Spielberg's worst films he ever made, which shows how good he is. But this is a good film. But obviously, it's just my opinion. But this is my opinion on the film. Is yeah, you're not gonna have an incredible experience that blows you away. You're not gonna have that. You're not gonna have this incredible action. Like some action's pretty good. Some action, is okay. But most action, I like it. It's not 8 out of 10 action sequences, but they're 7 out of 10s. For me, it's not amazing. Like it's not incredible, but this is a fun time that you won't be blown away with. Honestly, that's what I can say. It's a fun time. So if you enjoy watching this and this channel, please subscribe. I have film reviews every week, usually once a week or sometimes a couple more in a week. Depends on if I want to make a lot of videos or what, but yeah, uh, film reviews coming every week usually. So if you like films and everything, like modern and classics, like I review really everything, every type of film. So please subscribe and talk to you all later.